right. Hello, everybody. My name is Troy Sanders from the band Mastodon, and you are on Linea Rock.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Troy, for your time. Welcome to Italy and welcome to Linea Rock.
Thank you.
So it's 12 years of Mastodon already. So how does it feel for you? And you did things pretty well, I guess, since you've been defined one of the main metal acts of the early 21st century. And also Rolling Stone magazine defined you the greatest band, metal band of this generation that no one else can compare to. So you must have been done things right.
I think so. On one hand, it's really bizarre to realize that we've had this longevity of 12 years. I think it's hard to be in a relationship with anything or anyone for that long.
Yeah.
I find that rare, much less me and 3 other men who are friends of mine. So I'm very proud of them, and for us to have maintained that. But we've also, the 4 of us believe that it's grown very, very naturally, and we just started creating music because this is the type of music that we wanted to play, and we just started touring, and we just have not stopped.
Yeah.
So it's grown from nothing to whatever it is now, and it's just been a very natural progression. So that's something that we can be very proud of. We never set out with a goal like, hey, we're going to be recognized as one of the most, powerful new rock bands around, or, nothing like that was ever thought of or spoken of. We just kind of started because we loved it, and we just haven't stopped. So it's a very great position to be in, but anytime we get very amazing compliments or praise from things like Rolling Stone or MTV, it's very nice to hear, but we just kind of say, wow, that's amazing, thank you, and then we just continue to move forward.
And is your passion still alive just like 12 years ago? Or, what is different now?
Yeah, the passion is still there. I think if someone in the band didn't have the passion, we probably would not force each other to continue doing this, because if it's not fun and overall if it's not a great time, then we would be better off at home with our families instead of gone so much. The only one thing I can say is that when you spend that much time per year, over 12 years, the touring cycle can grind on you a little harder than in the past, but that's just because of continuing to tour. But if we can find nice balance between touring life and home life, then we can maintain, re-energize the batteries and maintain that longevity. After this tour, for example, we're home for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We go to Australia for 3 weeks, and then we're home for 3 weeks. So it's just you got to go back and forth and remember who you are as a person instead of just this band that's doing well.
So your life didn't change a lot? The normal life?
No, because it's just been a very slow climb up the mountain.
Okay.
All the changes have come slowly. It's not like we were thrust into the spotlight after having one big hit song or something. We didn't go from nothing to something right away. It's just been a slow climb ever since. So that's probably very healthy that it happened like that.
So The Hunter is the 5th album, a very direct, heavy sound, and you defined it the most ambitious and complex to date. Why that, and what you're hunting for?
Well, I guess we're always hunting for bigger and better things, just because the world is huge and we want to see as much of it as possible. But this time around we wanted to embrace the simpler side of Mastodon and really have some renewed, wonderful, fresh energy. So therefore the songs just have a compacted energy, and it's right to the point.
Plus you don't have a concept this time.
Right, it's just...
Why this choice? Why now?
Well, it just seemed like we were starting to become that band where every album was going to be, what's the concept going to be for the next album? How crazy are they going to be? And we don't have to do a concept record. We just kind of did 4 in a row. But that's the beautiful thing about being in a band or being an artist. You can really do anything that you like. We're free to tread any new musical waters that we wish, and explore any sound that we like. So it's a beautiful thing.
And as tradition wants, again, as a special guest in one song, this time it's Spectralite.
Yeah.
You have Scott Kelly from Neurosis, is making a cameo one more time. Does it bring good luck to Mastodon in a sense, since he's always there when you're in the studio?
Yeah. Scott Kelly is a very dear friend of ours, and his band Neurosis is highly influential to us. And it's just worked out quite amazingly that over the past 4 records, if we have a part that sounds Neurosis-ish, we're like, hey, maybe Scott would like to lend his voice to this.
Okay.
Every time we call him, he just says, yep, I'll do it.
Okay.
It's that easy. So we like to have him on board whenever possible, and it's just worked out great that four albums later, he's still part of us.
You show a high energy and supreme technique and musicianship, for sure. But seems that Mastodon never liked to do anything the conventional way. Did you ever consider being labeled as a metal band a kind of limitation for the band?
Yeah, I've never labeled our band as a metal band, simply because I think that would put limitations on us. I feel that the 4 of us collectively are more, we're more of a multi-dimensional band, instead of just everything sounding the same or similar all the time. So I've never really enjoyed the label of heavy metal with Mastodon, just because I feel it limits us. But I understand that, hey, what does so-and-so sound like? Oh, they sound like, indie rock or heavy metal. I understand how tags are placed, and it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But I never put that tag on ourselves, just because I feel it's quite limiting.
And the fact of calling Mike Elizondo as a producer is a statement itself, or the fact that you want this variety and the fact of not being labeled.
Yeah, I think the biggest reason that we were excited to work with Mike Elizondo is because he had a very well-rounded idea of all types of music. He's very famous for the giant hip-hop artists he's worked with, but he's also done folk records, classical records, soul records, heavy metal records. He's done a little bit of everything, and he really he was able to embrace all the different sounds that we were creating while we were writing The Hunter. So it made perfect sense to us.
Was he a part also of the compositions or maybe of the arrangements of the songs?
He had a few ideas while we were in the studio of arranging that would make something more powerful.
Okay.
And we would try his ideas, and I think a couple of them stuck. But he was very, we came into the studio with 75% of the album done, and that's the way it was finished.
Yeah.
But it's nice to respect the producer that you're working with. So when he does have an idea, you can appreciate that idea and try it. And if it's like, wow, that's a good idea. It works. Or it's like, hey, we like our way better. It's a very easy relationship.
If you had to choose 3 albums in rock, metal, stoner, whatever you like, that can define perfectly your roots and influences, which ones would you pick to define maybe your style to the people that doesn't know yet about Mastodon?
Let's see. I would say the album Times of Grace by Neurosis.
Okay.
We could say the Stag record by the Melvins. And Live and Dangerous by Thin Lizzy.
Wow.
That would be an easy way to basically summarize 3 of our many loves.
Yeah, and that states your variety as
but
well.
But the variety that we are inspired by is literally from the past 300 years of music.
Yeah.
From Beethoven to Bjork. There's so much that we love and are inspired by and listen to, and so it's really hard to, just.
I know you're big fans also of progressive rock.
Oh yeah.
Do you know any band of the Italian progressive rock scene of the 70s? Have you heard any? Or
not that I can think of immediately.
PFM or Neutrals? You never heard about any of those? Okay.
No, I need to.
You should, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be in charge of it.
All right.
I have a mission. Okay. And which is the best compliment you received from colleagues like Tool, Alice in Chains, Deftones, or Slayer that you toured together with?
I think the best compliment from some of our heroes like Iron Maiden and Tool and Slayer and all these huge bands that have brought us on as support. I think that's the biggest compliment right there, is just them asking you to be a part of their tour.
Okay.
That's kind of speaks for itself, and
Yes.
like, wow, they must have, because when you're a huge band, you don't need an opener. Tool didn't need us to help sell tickets. Metallica does not need us to help sell tickets. Iron Maiden does not need us. So it's nice that they even had our name in mind and asked us to share the stage with them and be a warm-up, be the support.
Yeah.
So that's a giant compliment right there.
Also you, I mean, Mastodon do not need any opening act at the moment, but you're giving a great chance to this stoner band, Red Fang.
Yeah.
Why them, and how did you decide to call them?
Red Fang is relatively a new band, and they just have a very raw, simple approach to just dirty rock and roll. And it's just a sound that the four of us in the band really like. And they're very good guys. And when you tour together, you spend, each band has their small moment on stage, but other than that, you have many hours of just personal time.
Yeah.
So it's good to like the guys in other bands. And just a good bunch of dudes that play a great brand of rock and roll. So we're very much into Red Fang traveling with us.
Concerning the video you did for Dry Bone Valley, that's very particular with all the skulls and stuff. Where the idea came from and what's the concept behind it, if there's any? And if I'm correct, you also organized a contest connected to the video. Is that true?
Yeah, but I don't know much about that contest.
Okay.
But every time we do a new video, we just like to have a very different approach. And our friend Tim Biscup is a great artist that we all are very, very fond of.
Okay.
And we just asked him if he'd be interested in creating a video for us. He said yes, so we just kind of let him go with it. And we just said, hey, make it crazy, do whatever you want. There's a clean slate. Please make us a video. It's just nice just like we want every album to be very different.
Yeah.
Same thing with our music videos. We want them to be very different. And our past 3 videos could not be any more different. Dry Bone Valley, Curl of the Burl, and Deathbound. Our past 3 videos are the 3 complete opposites of video approaches, so we like that.
What does make a video represent to a band like Mastodon? Because I mean, a few years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, when you started, video had a different kind of use. The goal was to go on MTV and stuff like
Right.
that. That's not your
No.
your goal. So what that represents and to you now?
Yeah, we realize that music videos are very short-lived. So if anyone sees our videos, we want something to be special about it where they would want to see it again or tell someone about it.
Okay.
You're like, hey, Curl of the Burl videos is hilarious. You got to watch it. Or something that would be striking to, enhance the listening experience to the song,
Okay.
obviously with a visual. But yeah, videos, most of them are very expensive to make, and they have a very small lifespan. So you have to make it interesting, hopefully to some degree, to have as many people as possible see it while it's still, before it gets shelved for the rest of its life.
Are you guys on Facebook? Do you interact directly with your fans?
I am not personally, but I know our band has
Okay.
social media outlets, but I don't think we personally interact with anyone on there.
It's
Not that I'm
something-
aware of. I'm not on there personally as well, so I'm kind of, out of the loop on social networking.
Okay, so which are the future plans for Mastodon at the moment? How will you take us by surprise in the near future?
Good question. We obviously have a year's worth of touring ahead of us that we want to travel to as many different places as possible. And then when we feel that we've exhausted our energy on touring, we will take a short break and reconvene in our rehearsal space and hopefully work on new material and continue to do what we do.
which is your main goal at the moment, if you have any, and how do you imagine yourself in 10 years from now?
I think if we have any goals at the moment, it's just to stay healthy and continue doing this, because we're very fortunate to be able to live and breathe Mastodon as our livelihood. And in 10 years from now, I will be thinking about 10 years ago I did this amazing interview.
Thank you so much, Troy. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
And good luck for the show tonight.
Thank you.
You, man.